live this Saturday. We'll be with you once again for another WWE Premium Live event. It is the 2024 edition of the WWE Money in the Bank Premium Live event from Toronto, Canada, and we are back to normal start times. Remember, PLEs start at 7 p.m. when they're not internationally scheduled outside of the U.S. and Canada, Puerto Rico, places like that. So when it's not in Europe or those parts of the world, 7 p.m. But join us. Super hit that subscribe button, like a bomb that like button, backdrop that bell. And of course, we're nothing without you, Flex Zone family, as this is the only place giving you your wrestling coverage how you want it when you need it. Make sure you sound off. Give me your prediction for this match and other matches and what you would like to see this Saturday at Money in the Bank, shaping up to be a big time show. Speaking of big time, we got a big time Intercontinental Championship match as Sami Zayn, the reigning Intercontinental Champion, takes on the vicious, tenacious, physical, aggressive, mean mugging, fast running Bron Breakker.
That's one big son of a bitch! No bread, no water, just meat.
Bron Breakker has been fantastic since coming up to the main roster. And I think more than anything has been the organic growth of seeing the WWE universe, the fans, people like ourselves, get behind this brother. You see Bron Breakker signs now at the events. You hear the hoo, the Steiner bark. He looks the part. He's very good in the ring. He cuts a good promo. He was fantastic last night. The production and presentation of him with the aerial spears and running over 20 miles per hour off the ropes and that quick first step where he turns around and he spear you out of nowhere, how we have with Randy Orton RKO out of nowhere, or with Bron Breakker, spear out of nowhere. And he has the best spear in all of professional wrestling. No debate. He's going up against Sami Zayn, who still is your Intercontinental Champion. He beat Gunther at WrestleMania. He's still holding the belt for now. And this is probably his toughest test yet. Bron Breakker is basically undefeated, hasn't been pinned, being thrust into a title situation. Is it too soon? Probably. Would I be mad if Bron Breakker did win the IC championship and they put the rocket on his back 3 months in? I wouldn't be. I just would kind of question where they go next, because if they're giving Bron Breakker the Intercontinental Championship now, by we heading to WrestleMania next year, he's going to be ready for a World Championship by Money in the Bank SummerSlam next year, which he is a future World Champion. And there's no doubt about that. He is the next face of the company. He is the next top guy. And you are witnessing a beautiful, organic, well put together, and a lot of credit to Bron Breakker. He has grown by leaps and bounds since seeing him that first NXT 2.0. And he was even impressive then, in my opinion. But boy, is he really a 5-tool player, as they say. He does it all, and he's going to only continue to get better. Now, I do think Sami Zayn is IC champion. He's put together some wonderful stories, some good matches with Gable. They seem to move past that for now. And it looks like Sami Zayn will walk into Canada with the IC championship again. He will be heavily cheered. Bron Breakker will be heavily booed, but probably a little bit of cheers mixed in there as well. Now, this is, like I said, I wouldn't be mad at Bron Breakker one, but I just think it is a little too soon to give Bron Breakker that IC championship now. If they want to hold off on it and they maybe do a multi-man match or something at SummerSlam, because I don't know what Sami Zayn is going to be doing if he walks into SummerSlam as the IC champion. I could see a Sami Zayn, Bron Breakker, Sheamus 3-way. I could see a Sami Zayn, Bron Breakker, Ludwig Kaiser, Fatal 4-way. I could see some sort of multi-man match for the IC title. Maybe a ladder match, ode to SummerSlams of yesteryear with the Shawn Michaels and Razor Ramon and some other great IC championship matches. Could be a ladder match, multi-man ladder match to get other guys on the card. It'll be in Cleveland. We'll see what happens. I do think Sami Zayn wins here. Bron Breakker did get the upper hand on Raw, but I can see Sami winning here with a flash pin, a a roll-up victory, maybe even a bit of a heel tactic where he grabs a little bit of the tights, or maybe uses his foot up on the rope for leverage. And I'm not saying that as he's about to turn heel, because I think Sami's story is really just beginning. And I think maybe SummerSlam he does eventually drop that IC title, and he maybe gets involved with another story that he's familiar with the bloodline. But we'll talk about that at a later date. Sami Zayn, I think, wins here. He retains his IC title. I mean, crazy enough, it feels like Sami has had the title a long time. He's only had the title since April. May, June, July. This is his third month with the title. So he hasn't even had the title 100 days. So his title reign is really just getting started, in my opinion. He beat the unbeatable Gunther, who's going to probably eventually walk out of SummerSlam with the World Heavyweight Championship. You don't want him to lose the title 3-4 months into his reign after beating your most dominant IC champion of all time. I think he keeps the belt here. He gets a flash pin. Maybe Bron Breakker does something and it's used against him, whether that's a spear or a goofy misjudgment or of exhibition of inexperience, and he maybe spears the turnbuckle or hits the apron or goes through the barricade. And I'm not saying it's going to be a count out or anything like that, but like I said, I can see him being damaged enough where Sami can take advantage, maybe with a Blue Thunder Bomb, maybe with the Haluva kick, and he has to dig deep and roll him up. And like I said, he may have to grab the tights. He may have to put his foot on the rope. He may have to use that crucifix pin or that flash pin to get the victory. But what say you, Flex Zone family and WWE wrestling fans? Do you love what you've seen from Bron Breakker? Have you loved what you've seen from him so far since calling up? They have done a wonderful job with Bron Breakker, and that's just kind of what you get with these NXT call-ups. You get every now and then a guy like Bron Breakker who's booked perfectly, and then you get other situations where guys aren't booked well at all, and it just doesn't ever really seem to get going. But Bron Breakker, you clearly see they have a vision for him. You clearly see he could be the guy this time next year ready for that World Heavyweight Championship opportunity, much like we see with Gunther heading into SummerSlam. And if they do a King of the Ring or whatever they want to do next year and it leads to a championship match at SummerSlam again, Bron Breakker would be the favorite for King of the Ring. Bron Breakker would be the guy I'm looking at to be the next champion in the next 18 months, next year and a half, within 12 to 18 months. I can see him as the next world champion, whether that's the Undisputed or World Heavyweight, whichever show he ends up on after the draft next year. But I could see him as a favorite for King of the Ring. Not necessarily for Royal Rumble. I could see him definitely probably being in that Final Four potentially. But I think his time is after Mania next year, because we still got Cody, we got Gunther, we got the bloodline stuff going on. So we're going to see how that shakes out. But I can see Bron Breakker eventually winning the IC title before the end of this year. If not at SummerSlam, if not at a Bash at Berlin, maybe at a Bad Blood. And maybe he walks into WrestleMania with the IC title and loses it maybe to Sheamus, who gets his WrestleMania moment, becomes a Grand Slam champion, and wins the IC title from Bron Breakker, a WrestleMania moment right there on both ends. But sound off in the comment section, super kick that subscribe button, like a bomb that like button, backdrop that bell. Let me know what you think about Money in the Bank this coming Saturday, as we be live at 7 p.m. in Toronto. We had a lot of matches. Well, not a lot, only 5. The WWE Triple H special, 5-6 matches. So I'll be intrigued what they do with SummerSlam, with that being one of the biggest shows of the year, and that eventually becoming 2 nights. So we may see 7-8 matches. But I'm going with Sami Zayn to retain his Intercontinental Championship against Bron Breakker. Make sure you super hit that subscribe button, like a bomb that like button, backdrop that bell. Check out all the other previews on the channel. Sound off in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts on this match and the others, what you're looking forward to seeing at the PLE, and join us. It costs you nothing. Hit the like button. It lets YouTube know you like this video and others like it as well. And it just sends the content out to people who may not know about the Flex Zone Podcast. But this is the Flex Zone Podcast, only place giving you your sports and wrestling content how you want it when you need it. God's favorite host signing off. We'll see you for Money in the Bank on this Saturday, as we got a barn burner of a show lined up.